of this. Um, what I like to do is I like to get to know my audience. So we've got a couple of poll questions here. The first question is, do you actively use social media in your business? And the second question is, how often do you post? And the third question is using the chat window after you've given your response, then use the chat window and let me know, what do you hope to get out of this webinar? So why don't you go ahead and bring that poll up, Teresa? There we go. The polls are open. You can start practicing voting today because it's going to get even more intense as we move closer to November. So make sure you register your vote. Okay. All right. I'll let Teresa let me know when there's a nice quorum. By the way, I have a cold and I hope to make it through the entire presentation without losing my voice. But in case I do, that's why Teresa's here.
Okay, the results are posted.
Great. So looking at the verse, so about 2/3 of us use social media today in your business. That's good to know. It certainly is an important element and part of an overall marketing strategy. So it's good to see you using it. And then about 1/3 of you either are not using it or would like to use it. So there's some very helpful things you're going to find from this particular webinar that will help you understand the landscape that's out there. And then the second question, how often do you post? Uh, we've got some real power posters out there that post every day. That's excellent. Good for you. Um, Weekly, that's a good cadence to be on within social media. Monthly is a little long between posts. So if you could get it to weekly, that's optimal. And if you could do it every day, that's just truly optimal. And then, not unusual. What happens with social media is that we kind of get around to it. When we either tell ourselves, it's been a while since I posted something, I should probably post something, or it's just our life is so busy with other things that social media kind of gets pushed down the priority list of things to do. But it's very important. It's very important to small businesses to know how to leverage the social media platforms. Okay, and in our chat, what have we got in our chat? We've got, let's see.
You want me to read those?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and do
Yeah.
those?
Best techniques and approach to max input impact of different platforms. Hoping to get input from people about their expectations of social media. Too often the mistake is to hope for something for nothing. Which platforms are best for a specific company? Yeah, I think that covers it.
All right, very good. So we hope to meet your expectations today. This is a jam-packed presentation, and we're going to fly through it. So put on your seatbelts, and let's go. Um, so just a little bit about myself. I've been in business for over 40 years. 30 years I was with Verizon, leading global teams and marketing initiatives. When I retired from Verizon, I opened up my own consulting business, and I became a mentor with SCORE Boston. And I have just thoroughly enjoyed my retirement years doing both. And it's been wonderful to get to know small business people, to try to help and to be there to when they're uh, either struggling or when they're growing. And at SCORE we say for the life of your business. And that's really true. We're here as long as you need us to be to help you and to help your business succeed. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to define social media. We're going to look at 8 different platforms, the big ones, the big platforms that are out there, 7 of which you'll probably know, 1 of which you may not know. We're going to talk about best practices, and we're going to talk about choosing the right platform, and a little bit at the end about looking ahead to the future. So, social media, what is social media? This phenomena that has come upon our culture. It's forms of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content such as videos. And there's key words in this definition, and the one key word is community. People join social media because they're seeking community and they're seeking connection. They want to get together with like-minded individuals and they want to exchange information with each other. But for the small business person, it's also about congregation and engagement. It's about having pools of people that are on an electronic platform that are meeting to talk about issues within their business, issues for which your business could address. So if you can get into those areas where people are congregating and make yourself known, you can drive leads, drive business. In terms of attracting them to your information versus other people's information, it's all about engagement. It's about putting things out there that draws people into the content. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation. So why is social media so important? Well, growth. When you look at the number of social medias worldwide, it just continues to grow. It's into the billions. And for the users that are out there, the reason they like social media is they like the purchasing power that they gain from social media and the ability they have to negotiate and to do competitive analysis. There's a certain culture and societal adaptation to social media. It's become part of our fabric. Small business people like it because they can reach markets that would be very difficult to reach otherwise through traditional marketing. And so with the uh, ability to address people nationwide, you have the ability to reach people nationwide as well, globally, as a matter of fact. And it represents new channels of distribution. You may have a brick and mortar store. Social media could provide you with an outlet for an online store. And you could use your brick and mortar store to drive traffic online. You could use your online store to drive traffic to your brick and mortar store. So there's new channels of distribution. And the real pressure that small business people feel today is, they've got to understand it because their competition has embraced it. So why do small businesses use social media today? The first reason is because of for disintermediation, which is a big word for cutting out the middleman. Social media, levels the playing field. It allows you to go directly to your clients and your customers. You don't have to go through a wholesaler who goes to a retailer who then sells your product. You can go directly to the customer with your product. Um, as I mentioned, there's pressure on small business people that they think they have to be on social media and they have to understand social media. And then there's this pressure, but I've only got so many hours in the day and so many days per week. And so there's this juggling of time and time management. Um, Businesses use it for customer engagement. It's a way to get feedback on your product or service. They use it for market reach. They use it to direct traffic to their websites. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in best practices as well. And then they use it for e-commerce and social commerce, as well as training. So the platforms we're going to talk about today are these that you see on the screen before you. You're probably very familiar with their logos. And if you're not actively engaged in the platforms, you're really not actively engaged in social media. And if you harness the power of these, it's really harnessing the power of the future of commerce, because social media will continue to grow and people will continue to exploit it to drive business for their companies. The first up is Facebook. Facebook is primarily a social network. It's where people put text and videos and multimedia. There's 3 billion monthly active users on Facebook today. And Cristiano Ronaldo is a famous soccer player. He's got the most likes out there at 160 million. And then this quote from anthropologists was quite interesting, that when they look back to today, so from sometime in the future. What Facebook is doing is it's preserving images of our lives that are vastly crisper and more nuanced than any ancestry record in existence. So they're going to be able to look back 100 years from now and know exactly what life was like, because we're chronicling our lives on social media today. Within the social media arena, Facebook's the 800-pound gorilla's big brother. It's so big that it is the internet to some people. The key elements associated with Facebook, if you're not familiar, is that first you have a news feed, and that's where Facebook is providing you with news of other people posting on Facebook, whether they're people or whether they're companies. You get a feed, a listing of posts, and the posts very often come with pictures. They sometimes come with videos. But that's how you get your updates and your news coming across the platform. If you like something that you see, you can hit the like button. That get back to the person who posted and lets them know that, somebody looked at my post and they read my post and they liked my post. It's not only important to know that as the poster, but it's also important for influencing the algorithms that sit behind Facebook. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on as well. There is a place for company pages within Facebook. And if you don't have a company page today, you should put one up. Now, people say, well, but I don't want to have a company page associated with my personal Facebook page. Well, then what I would say is set up a Facebook page and link it to your company email address. You can have multiple logins on Facebook. When you go into Facebook, it's just going to ask you, do you want to go into this Facebook or do you want to go into that Facebook? So you can set up a Facebook for your company email, and then from that, you can build a company page and you can post things that are associated with your business on that side and leave your personal side more related to personal. Facebook has groups, and groups in general are special interest groups. We talk about people seeking community. They like groups because they like to talk with other people that are like-minded and are facing the same issues that they're facing. And so, groups are not to be overlooked. As you get involved in groups, you get involved in the information flow. You begin to understand what are the trends within my industry. I've got an addressable market, and what are the things that are happening within my addressable market? What are the trends? Well, if you're a part of a group, an interest group that talks about things that your product or service can address, you're going to get to know what are the trends that are happening. And it keeps you up to date. You can post there. And when you post there, you want to make sure you're doing it of an informational nature, but it puts you out there as a thought leader, that you are on top of the trends that are going on within the industry that you're part of. So how does businesses use Facebook? We just talked about special interest discussions. They will post company news out there and industry news. They will post things out there to keep their clientele updated on what their company is doing. They also use it for product research. You can put promotions out there as well. So there's a variety of use cases that you can use Facebook for. The benefits of Facebook, if you've got a product or service that is primarily targeting consumers, you're going to want to consider being on the Facebook platform because the Facebook platform is where consumers are and where they're seeking, information that's going to help them as an individual. And so, if you want to conduct business to consumer e-commerce, you're going to want to consider Facebook as the platform. And we're going to look at the advertising of all of the platforms, and all of the platforms have the ability to advertise. And what you're going to see over and again is that once you've created your ad account, you set a campaign objective, you set a spend limit for your campaign, you define your audience, you add a payment method, you sign up for an ads manager so you can see results, and then you're going to pay most of the time you're going to pay per click. If somebody clicks on your ad, they're going to come to wherever the ad is pointing, and then hopefully you're making a sale at that point. But those ads can run anywhere from $2 to $15 per day, which might seem high, but then think about the alternative. Think about trying to do these things through traditional marketing channels. If you had to, if you wanted to do a direct mailing, you'd have to create the mailer. You would have to do the printing. You would have to do the mailing. Very expensive way of doing marketing. Online advertising starts to look a little bit more attractive when you compare it against traditional marketing processes. Instagram is the next platform. It's a platform. It's owned by Meta. Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, and it's primarily where people will put, photo and video sharing. When it launched in 2010, it rapidly gained popularity with 1 million users in the first 2 months, 10 million within a year, and today there's over 2.3 billion users of Instagram. And a lot of times people, they favor Instagram over Facebook. There's a demographic difference between the two. Instagram caters more towards a younger crowd. Facebook caters more towards an older crowd. And Instagram is used by people that are visually oriented and that are looking for visual stimuli. So if you have a very visually oriented product or service, you want to consider Instagram. And Cristiano Ronaldo holds the most followers at 600 million followers on Instagram, which is truly amazing. So the Instagram platform, the key elements, you've got photos, you've got videos, they've got short-term videos that they call Reels. With the benefit of being part of Meta, you can post something on Instagram, it will show up on Facebook. You can post something on Facebook, it will show up on Instagram. So they work in conjunction with each other and gets you more coverage of your information. So how do businesses use it? They might use it for product and project presentations. They'll use it for company announcements, and Instagram has really created a number of people that are influence marketers. These are people that have tremendous following on Instagram, and as a result, they go out and they recommend different products or they showcase different products. So you could imagine being connected to Cristiano Ronaldo and him promoting your product or service, reaching 600 million Instagram users out there. That is incredible. And so, what are the chances of you doing that? Never say never. You never know, especially within the internet. But there are other people that are considered influence marketers. The benefits, it's a great platform for showcasing visually oriented products and projects. If you are an interior decorator or if you're a general contractor, showing your latest projects, people love to see work in process, and they like to see your work as it's being done. If you have, you know, if people really need to see your product before they can make a decision to buy, you want to, put it on a visually oriented platform like Instagram, where they can see that rich photographic uh, information that you can provide. And it's great for reaching a younger demographic. You can do advertising over Instagram as well. And because, again, with integration with Facebook, you're going to spend anywhere from $2 to $15 per day on Instagram too. And it will be, uh, it, look into the ad. There are ways you can have it advertise on both platforms, but not have to pay both platforms. So, use the integration capability of Facebook and Instagram. Moving on to LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, it's an employment and business oriented content. It's got professional networking, and it's got over 950 million registered members from over 200 countries. 31% of LinkedIn visitors come from the US. So two-thirds of the people are actually on are outside of the U.S. And then 80% of business to business leads come from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, so not surprisingly, Bill Gates is the most popular person at 38 million followers. And Google is the most followed organization with over 25 million users as well. It's got a user profile network. You probably have noticed within LinkedIn, you've got first degree, second degree, third degree contacts. What that means, a first degree contact means it's somebody that you've gone out to, you've agreed to connect with them, they've agreed to connect with you, you're sharing information back and forth. That's your first degree connection. A second degree connection is somebody who's connected to the person you're connected to. You're not connected to them, but the person you're connected to is connected to them. And second degree contacts can be attractive for building your user numbers, because you can approach them and say, "I'd love to connect with you," and they'll notice, "Oh, you're connected with somebody that I'm already connected with as well. Yes, I'd be happy to connect with you." Third degree connectivity are people that you're not connected with, and they're not connected with anybody you're connected with, but they are followed, and you could follow them. Those are considered to be third degree connections that you have. Um, and LinkedIn has its own version of company pages and its own version of groups. And then for those that want to data mine those 950 million users within LinkedIn, you can do it using a tool. It's a fee-based tool from LinkedIn called Sales Navigator. And Sales Navigator will let you go into the LinkedIn database, and based on industry, or based on sales, or based on employee size, or based on job titles, you can pull out from LinkedIn some variety of users that you can then contact using their in-mail system. And depending on how many in-mail messages you're going to send in a month will determine how much you pay for that particular service. But to get access to Sales Navigator requires you become a premium member, and then you subscribe to that add-on feature. People are using LinkedIn today really as their personal branding. It's where people can get to know you. And if you're in a professional service, you absolutely should be on LinkedIn, because people want to get to know you. They want to know what your interests are. They want to know what areas of expertise you have. They want to know, your work history. before they determine if they want to network with you, or before they determine to want to even contact you. They want to have a nice dossier, if you will, of who you are. So if you're in a professional service, by all means, make sure you've got a LinkedIn profile. People join LinkedIn for discussion groups as well. Discussion groups tend to be more of a professional nature. You've got business people and professionals that are within LinkedIn, and they have issues they want to discuss with each other. So they'll have special interest groups around their business as well. People use it for lead generation. We talked about Sales Navigator. You can also just go in and search on different terms within LinkedIn to get access to people that you might want to contact as well. The benefits of LinkedIn is it's great for business to business commerce because you're dealing with professionals out there. And it very often will have people in positions of CEO or president or chief financial officer or chief operations officer. So there'll be some high level people that are on LinkedIn because, again, it's their personal branding and it's their what they need to do is they need to continue to build their expertise and make sure others know about their expertise. It's international in scope and it's excellent for networking with clients and prospects. You can advertise over LinkedIn. Not surprisingly, you've got to set an objective, create your ad, and then when you do, the average cost per click is going to run anywhere from $3 to $5. So a little more expensive than Facebook. But again, you're reaching a different audience when you're doing it through Instagram. X, the former Twitter, which is photo, text, and video sharing. It's about posting and reacting. The app allows users to you upload media. It can be edited with filters and organized by hashtags or geographical tagging. It has over 610 million monthly users. When Elon Musk took over uh, Twitter and renamed it X, they were saying there was going to be this massive exodus of users from the platform. Actually, the opposite has occurred. The platform has grown to where it's now over 610 million monthly users. And Elon Musk, not surprisingly, the most popular with over 156 million followers on the X platform. You no longer tweet on the X platform, you post. So tweets, it still gets preferred. People still talk about tweeting something, but with each passing month, with each passing year, it's going to be less about tweets. It's going to be more about posts, and it's about content. It's about getting short form content out on the platform. You're limited to 280 characters, and so you need to make sure you get your point across in a couple of sentences when you post. But you can add videos, you can add photos, you can add hashtags and usernames and retweets and replies. And you can do messages. There's a variety of things you can do on the platform, but people today use X to get company news. A lot of companies out there will post their headlines on X, and so if there's something going on and you're tracking a particular company because you want to do business with them, you can get that company news over Twitter as it happens and be on top of it and be in touch with your client out there. People use it for product announcements, talking about a new release or a new product of some kind or a new market that you've gone into. You can use it for that. They use it for press releases. They use it for brand awareness. And sometimes they use it for a message from the CEO. They'll make a short video of the CEO talking about something related to their business. And people love videos on social media. They like to interact with videos. They really like to hear from CEOs, the people that run companies. So very often CEOs will post things on the X platform. The benefits of X is that your messages are short and pithy, but your feedback is immediate. When people look at their news feeds on X or their feeds on X, you don't archive those feeds. Those feeds will go away as the new feeds come in, but they'll take a look at a feed. If you put a post out there, they'll take a look at a post. The feedback will be immediate because they realize they can't go back and look for that post that they want to react to. So your feedback can be immediate. If you're putting a new product out there, asking people what they think, getting their feedback is a great way to use the platform. And within X, trending is the key. Not only to see what is trending, but to become the subject of something that's trending. If your post starts to trend, then you are really leveraging the platform to its greatest impact, and you're reaching the most people as a result. You can advertise on Twitter as well, and it's going to cost you around 50 cents to $2 per action. When it was a little less expensive than LinkedIn and Facebook. Moving into YouTube. YouTube is an online video platform. It's owned by Google. It's the second most visited website in the world. It's got 2.5 billion users. Users watch more than 1 billion hours of YouTube videos per day. But you'll find music videos, video clips, short and documentary films, audio recordings, movie trailers, live streams, video blogs. The content is generated by individuals, but media corporations also are on the platform to publish their videos. And so YouTube, not necessarily a community or a social media in the sense of like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn is, but it has its own following. It has its own community of people that are subscribing to channels out there, and they want to get the latest off of YouTube. And so by that, it becomes a social network for people, and becomes social media. And the most popular YouTuber is Mr. Beast. He's got 170 million subscribers. If you've not seen Mr. Beast, he kind of puts out these wacky videos about doing some crazy things, either pranking people or doing other things. And he's got a following. And as a result, he's become an influence marketer as a result of that success. The key elements associated with YouTube: video technology, live streaming. You've got a sense of community. The people use YouTube today for instructional videos. They use it for product launches. They use it for video log. Very often you'll see a website has a blog that has text and graphics, but you can also create a vlog, video log on YouTube and point people to it from your website. People use it for interviews. They interview either their clients or special guests. They use it for live streaming if they have a special event. And what's come on strong as well is video podcasts. Podcasts are around in an audio format and are very popular, but there also are video podcasts that people will put out there to their users out there to reach them. The benefits: you're on the #2 site in the US for traffic. The video plays well. It puts a face and a voice to the business, and you engage viewers with comments and feedback. And you can lock in viewers with subscriptions. You can advertise on YouTube, and if you spend time on YouTube today, you'll notice that you'll watch a video that at the end of the video, there'll be an ad. And you're like, well, I don't remember that happening before. That's because, Google is trying to drive revenue in the advertising space. And it'll cost about 2 cents to 6 cents per view. TikTok is a phenomenon. It's come on strong over the last couple of years. People today, it's still, got genres like pranks and stunts and tricks and jokes and dance and entertainments, anywhere from 15 seconds to 10 minutes. But others are getting attracted to it. Companies are attracted to it because they've surpassed 1.2 billion users worldwide, with over 150 million in the US. And it's got the highest Gen Z penetration at over 47% of active users who are between 10 and 29 years old. And then Kaby Lame, a Senegalese TikToker, has over 160 million followers. I mean, these numbers are just huge. And these are individuals. Um, some key elements: you've got short videos, you've got original content. They'll post challenges out there. That's really caught on within TikTok. You've got lip sync videos. You've got a For You page where TikTok feeds up videos to you. You've got influencer marketing, people coming out of TikTok who are influence marketers. You've got engagement marketing, where people are engaging with videos. People use it for product promotions. They use it for sales as well. So the benefits of TikTok is that you got a large, engaged audience. It's multimedia. It's community driven, and it's great for reaching Gen Z. Your videos are short duration, so you've got to get your point across in a very quick manner for people. But it can be a great way to reach a demographic, which the people that are between 10 and 29 years old. You can advertise on TikTok as well. They've got a little different structure, and the cost of their structure is going to cost around $10 per million impressions. And what that means is that people that have seen your ad, that's what you'll get for your dollars investing in ads. Alignable is the one that you may not necessarily be familiar with. And Alignable is a referral network for small business owners. And think of it as a global platform with a local focus. The company's based in Boston. They've got over 8 million users, and they're in 35,000 communities and growing. And they use kind of a LinkedIn model of making connections, referrals, and recommendations while also receiving them. So when you sign into Alignable, and you can do this for free, you can sign into Alignable, you can build a profile, you can start building a network, and you can build a profile not only of yourself, but also a profile of who's a good or ideal referral partner for you. You can put in those attributes within the tool, and then the tool will start feeding you other people within Alignable that feed that profile, fit that profile, that you can get in contact with them, add them to your network, and grow your network within Alignable, and start to refer business back and forth. It's got its own version of groups, and there's interest groups in there. What I like about Alignable is that it's designed for the small business. And sometimes small business can be a little lonely. One of the nice things I like about Alignable is they've got a group out there called Ask a Small Business Person Anything. So you can get in and put a question in there. If you have a question, I'm thinking of doing this, or I'd love some advice. Has anybody else tried this? You can get some information from people all over the nation who have tried doing what you're thinking of doing. It's great for lead generation. It's great for getting advice. You can connect with other small businesses. You can share your expertise as well with them. It's got a focus on small business. It's increased brand awareness, increases the awareness of your brand. There's the best match feature we talked about. And so when you use Alignable, if you want to advertise, when you sign up for Alignable, you get put within a community. And for instance, I'm in Lexington, my community's about 1,100 businesses. SCORE is in downtown Boston. That's about 4,500 small businesses. If I want to advertise to those communities, I can do that through sponsoring their newsletters. They've got monthly newsletters that go out to the community. It's a banner ad that you put on the newsletter, and it, depending on the community that you're in, will determine how much you pay. It's anywhere from $50 to $300 per month. By the way, if you want to increase your community, if you want to reach a greater geography, you can do that, but you have to go on their premium service to get an expanded community, expanded reach. Google's in here. Now, Google's not necessarily a traditional social media platform, but it it does have its own social media elements associated with it. It's a multinational technology company. It specializes in internet-related services. It includes online advertising, a search engine, cloud computing, software and hardware. Uh, Google is the most visited website worldwide with over 3.5 billion searches per day. And although it's not a traditional social media platform, Google really has transformed Google search into include images and videos as well as e-commerce. So the key elements of you've got the search engine, you've got advertising, you've got web-based services, you've got a Google business profile. If you have a brick and mortar site, or if you have a physical address that is outside of your personal or residential address, you should have a Google business profile. The value of a Google business profile is that anybody who searches, excuse me, anybody who searches within Google Maps for something near them, you're going to show up. You'll show up in that search because advertising is always at the top level of searches. Google Maps is always second, and generic searches is always third. So if you don't have a Google Business Profile, it doesn't cost anything to set up. Excuse me. It doesn't cost anything to set up. And for those that don't necessarily have a physical address or their residence is their physical address. Some people have opened up accounts with like a UPS store to get a mailbox, and then they use that street address as their address for the Google business profile. But very valuable thing to have out there to be able to for people to find if they're searching. So how are people using Google today? They're doing searches, and as a result, businesses today are challenged with coming up with how do I optimize the search engine? How do I make sure when somebody puts in a term that I show up? And that's a whole separate subject. We have a whole separate webinar that cover SEO techniques. But people are using search within Google to get people ultimately to their website. And you can advertise on Google as well. People use it for competitive research, product research, and market research. The benefit is it's the #1 site in the world for traffic. It's got interoperability with everybody. Everybody's got to make sure they're somehow connected with Google if they want to be found. When people do find you, they're generally informed consumers, and they're generally pre-qualified to purchase what it is you have to sell. You can advertise over Google as well, and average cost will be about $1 to $2 per click. All right, we made it to the end of the Big Eight. Teresa, do we have any questions that have come in?
Well, I feel like anything that was submitted was answered. If I'm incorrect about that, please let us know. And we can take any questions you have at this time. We give everyone a chance to type if you would like to submit something. Give it a couple minutes. Again, we did record today. So you can find that probably on Monday, posted on our website under the score.org/Boston website under the blue bar, local workshops. Under there, you'll find previously recorded so that you can watch this presentation again. And I will also include my email address if you have any questions about getting a SCORE mentor. I can help you with that. There's my email there. You can also, again, go to the score.org website and submit that information.
Hey, Teresa, I do have
Yep.
some closing slides as well.
Oh, okay. I have a question.
Just,
What is a good resource for a small business to get feedback on your social media platforms?
talk to your clients out there, talk to your friends and family. Um, it depends on what it is you're seeking. If you want to know if your platform is attractive, or if your post is attractive or not, or your site is attractive or not, you'll know that by the number of shares and likes that you're getting from your particular post.
Okay.
All right, let's
Yeah,
move
go
on. I
ahead.
just have a
Mhm.
few more slides here. So best practices, strive for engagement. Social media today is all about engagement. So what you want to do, you want to make sure you teach, you want to make sure you entertain, you want to make sure you inform, or you want to make sure you inspire. Keep it short. People have a very short attention span. You've got to get your message across in a couple of sentences. If you put graphics to your text, all the better. If you put video with your text, even better. Um, if somebody posts a reply to you, feedback, make sure you respond. Make sure you respond to your fans. They took the time to provide you with feedback, and they're expecting a fairly quick response coming back from you. Post consistently and at the right times. Uh, Social media today rewards those who post on a regular basis. And you think about the people that have thousands, if not millions, of followers. That's all they're doing all day long is they just post and post and post and post. As small business people, you haven't got the time to be able to do that. You've got other things you're doing to run your business. But if you can set up a cadence, if you could say, okay, I'm going to do this once a week. And for me, the right time might be posting Monday. Social media best practice, the best times to post are either on a Tuesday or a Friday. Tuesday or a Thursday. But whatever you pick, stay with it. And it requires that you set up a content inventory. If you don't set up a content inventory, weeks are going to come and go, and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted anything. And when you post it, then it's going to be like this big gap. If you can stay with a cadence, people come to expect it. They say, this person sends me a weekly post or posts weekly. I should expect to post every week. And there are some wonderful tools out there today to help you create content. ChatGPT, for instance, can be used to, you may have an idea, you may have a topic, and it will create the content. And then what you do is it's a draft. You look over the draft, you modify it, you put it in your own voice, and then you post it. The process will take you probably about 20 minutes. If you have to write it from scratch, if you're like me, it'll take 2 hours. So ChatGPT can be very helpful for writing content and creating a content inventory. Um, Post surveys and questions and videos. People love to take surveys and post them. There's Provide the immediate response to the survey. Don't necessarily link them back to your website because people are looking for an immediate response to when they put in the response. So you make sure you do it within the confines of Facebook or LinkedIn or others, so they get that immediate response for the survey that you're conducting. Post questions. People love to help each other out, and post a question out there and get people to interact and provide information to your question. Post videos. As I mentioned, people love videos today. We're in this TikTok world where people today want to look at videos. They get attracted to videos, but they got to be short. They've got to be short form videos for people. So make sure you get your information across as soon as you can. Probably one of the biggest things to get out of this webinar today is the algorithms. Every one of these platforms has an algorithm that sits behind it. Now, what is an algorithm? Well, an algorithm is a system of rules and processes that determine which content appears in a user's new feed and in what order. And the main goal of the platform is to increase the user engagement by showing them the most relevant content. So that's how Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, and X and YouTube and Google and TikTok, Alignable, they all want satisfied customers. They want to make sure that they're feeding you what you want to see. And so to do that, they have the algorithms that sit behind the systems. They sit behind the platforms. They look at what you're inputting. They're looking what they have to offer, and they're feeding you that information. So when I say understand the algorithms, one of the things you can do on ChatGPT, for instance, is to put in the simple phrase, what do posters need to know about the algorithms in Facebook? And it will come back and give you a point-by-point result of what you need to be aware of and what you need to do to leverage the algorithm. And so that will shape your content. It will shape what it is that you're putting out there. So take advantage, learn from ChatGPT or Google it, as well. But learn become an expert on the algorithms that sit behind these, so that when you post things, you want to make sure you're taking advantage of an algorithm, and just be a little careful. Make sure you don't try to game the system. People that try to game the system get found out. If they get found out, then they get booted by the platforms. But you have to do pretty egregious things to get to that point. But they're all willing to share with you what their algorithm is. And so make sure you do the research on that. So which do you choose? First, define your addressable market. Determine whether you got a visual product or service. And how do you want to reach people? Do you want to reach them through email, through phone, through text, messaging, video? Are you a thought leader or follower within your market? And what kind of results are you looking for? Take a look at what your competitors are using. See if your competitors are on these different platforms. And if they are, what is it that they're posting out there? And what kind of like shares does it seem they're getting? And ultimately, pick one platform and get to know it intimately. Get to know the algorithms associated with it. Get to know what kind of information works well. Experiment, do A and B test, put a post out saying this, put a different post out on the same topic, see which one got any kind of response associated. Remember, you want to get engagement, from people, and sharing and liking is engagement. So they're certainly very valuable. But if you get a comment, people coming and providing comments, that's even better. So what's in the future as it relates to these platforms? There's a question as to whether or not they become too big. And if you've probably seen the news, articles or the news things on TV about how influential Facebook is, and they've gotten too big, and X, and they've gotten too big, and that they need to be regulated, and so government wants to step in and wants to regulate it. Well, in the market at the same time, you're starting to see some smaller networks come into play that are siphoning off some of the users at the bigger platforms. Alignable is a smaller network compared to the big guys, but its target is for small businesses. So it's got a very niche target it's going after. Social commerce, doing business over these platforms is really becoming the norm. And so figuring out ways you can do commerce over the platforms, it will only continue to grow. Messaging, people today want to get texts, they don't want to get phone calls. And so you see a lot of texting going on and creating uh, text lists that go out to people. Um, Long form video is giving away to short form video. Uh, Content creators are on the rise. We've got this real need for content. And, you can use tools like ChatGPT, create your own content. But there are people that have these little cottage industries where they're actually creating content and they're getting hired by people to create and post content for them. So if you've got the money to be able to do that, can be a great way to, again, make sure you've got your cadence going, where you've got regularity in your posting. Um, Paid advertising is becoming more intricate. Make sure whatever platform you decide to advertise on, do the research, become an expert on what it is so you know what you're paying for. Social listening is an interesting uh, feature where people now are um, monitoring brands and competition and trends within their industry. And so that's going to continue to uh, increase as well. And social audio is coming, where you're going to you go to a channel and you'll be able to listen to things. Podcasts are kind of like a social audio type of thing. Um, and the impact of AI, all platforms are incorporating AI. For sure, they're incorporating AI within the algorithms. And so as you get to know the algorithms, you get to know how to influence their artificial intelligence. And virtual reality, it's still seeking out adoption out there. I just don't see it. I mean, Facebook has spent billions, Microsoft has spent billions to try to build it out. I just don't see where there's a kind of adoption in the near future, but I could be wrong. Um, so with that, I think we're done, and I'll turn it over to you, Teresa. See if there's any lingering questions.
I do not have any posted questions. So I think we're at the top of the hour anyway, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up. I want to wish everyone a great weekend, and thank you, Rob, for presenting with your sore throat. So, and you made
Hit it.
it. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye.